good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from a news about Desawe Kanda. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W93.5 in and beyond. Health Minister Menta Akando under fire as Ghana Medical Association demands apology over Tamale Teaching Hospital CEO dismissal. This evening, we get a response from government and essentially getting to know the details of what the Ghana Medical Association is talking about on this matter. Stay with us. Also, the Ghana Journalists Association slams the new Patriotic Party third vice chair over threats on attack of media journalists. Stay with us. Also, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia blames NPP's 2024 defeat to voter apathy as he embarks on a nationwide thank you tour in the coming days. Stay with us. Also, government and Goldfields Ghana Limited finalize agreement on Daaman mine transition, paving way for Ghanaian takeover. We have more of this and the latest on the aftermath of the suspension of the Chief Justice. All these plus the latest in business and sports for the next 1 hour 30 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in and beyond. We're just getting news of another accident that's gruesomely taking the lives of some 8 persons. We'll give you an update on that shortly here on Hot Edition. And Safa Boahen standing by the summary of the news.
Thank you, Alfred, and welcome to the news summary segment. Let's move on now. And the government of Ghana and Goldfields Ghana Limited have finalized an amicable agreement on transitional arrangements for the Daaman mine, ensuring continued operations and job security while paving the way for eventual Ghanaian ownership. Also, the Ghana Medical Association GMA has accused the Minister of Health of acting beyond his remit in the dismissal of the Chief Executive Officer of the Tamale Teaching Hospital in a statement issued on Wednesday, April 22, 2025, jointly signed by the President of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Frank Srebo, and the General Secretary, Dr. Richard Selume, expressed concern about what it described as an ill-informed media audit into the death of a patient at the hospital. Let's move on now. And a 35-year-old businessman accused of the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Swale has been denied bail by the Accra High Court. In a ruling, the court presided by Justice Kizita Na Koshi said the court was currently unable to admit Daniel Krantin Owusu, who is facing a provisional charge of abetment and murder at the Medina District Court, to bail. And to our last story, the age limit qualification for Okada riders has now been reduced from 25 to 21 years in the preparation of a legislation to make commercial motor riding legal in Ghana. The Minister of Transport, Joseph Bukari Nikbe, has explained that he has prepared a memo for cabinet approval in that respect. And that brings us to the end of our news summary segment, and over to you, Alfred.
So far, thank you so much. There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 and also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's get into more of the stories right now. And the Ghana Medical Association has criticized the dismissal of the Tamale Teaching Hospital CEO, Dr. Adam Atiku, describing the move as an abuse of power and a violation of due process by the Minister of Health, Gov't Kando. Dr. Atiku was relieved of his duties on Tuesday, April 22, following an unannounced visit to the hospital by Mr. Kando, the Health Minister. This visit was prompted by the death of a patient, Bavuk Salim, who allegedly passed away due to the unavailability of a functional ventilator at the facility. A video that has since gone viral captured a heated exchange between the minister and the head of the Accident and Emergency Department of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, Dr. Valentine Akrofi, during the visit. Now, in a strongly worded statement issued earlier today, the Ghana Medical Association condemned both the dismissal of Dr. Atiku and the manner in which the medical personnel at the emergency unit were treated. The association argued that the CEO's removal bypassed standard administrative procedures and contravened the principles of natural justice. The association also demanded an unqualified apology from the health minister, Gov't Kando, and the Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Al-Hassan Suhain, who is also Deputy Minister for Roads, for what it described as an unwarranted attack on the hospital. We've got details of this particular statement. If you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927, we'll get it out. You read the full complement of it. Essentially, they make the point that it cannot be the case that this doctor was suspended without going through due process. That statement, GMA essentially condemning the actions of the Minister of Health, Gov't Akando, during that particular visit. They say that these acts, if continued, have the tendency of demoralizing committed workers and reducing public confidence in the health system. The Ghana Medical Association noted, and while also reiterating the need for proper investigative procedures instead of the public blame game. We'll get through to Austin Game. Austin Game is going to be joining us in a bit on the telephone. We'll try to raise labor expert Austin Game to get some more details on this particular development from the Ghana Medical Association. If you go on our Facebook page right now, the full statement indicates that Ghana Medical Association calling on the hospital to ensure due process is followed to ascertain the true facts about the grievances of the affected family and find lasting solutions to the issue. They also call on the management of the facility to ensure the safety of the staff involved and provide the necessary psychological support. Also, to make the point that the GMA is committed to dispassionately discussing the lingering systemic issues regarding the lack of adequate water supply to the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and that is one that they have also indicated their support to get through to ensure that the right things are done. But even after this particular incident, Dr. Thomas Anaba, who is a member of parliament for the Garu constituency, a member of the Health Committee of Parliament, I spoke to him earlier on this particular issue, and he did indicate that for him, as a member of the Health Committee and also a former CEO of the Ridge Hospital, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, there isn't anything wrong with what the minister did, but this has not gone down well with the Ghana Medical Association. This is what Dr. Thomas Anaba indicated earlier.
The one who oversees all the health institutions, facilities in the country. So if he has interest in any case that gets to his attention, it is his duty to visit that place if he wants. If he also decides to send a team to go and look at it, it is his duty to do that. So I think that the minister going there, he cannot be prevented. He has not done anything wrong. That is what he felt he should do. He got the call and he decided to go there himself to see it for himself. So there's nothing wrong with it. The minister can visit any hospital or any health facility or any health institution at all that he so desires to visit. Whether there's a call, a distress call or not, he can do it.
I see, and I'm sure that you've followed the public commentary after this because of the exchanges we saw between him and the said officer in charge today, who was also together with the CEO of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, whom we understand has been dismissed. That's Dr. Adam Atiku. Indeed, the health minister confirmed that indeed the dismissal of the chief executive officer of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, Dr. Adam Atiku, we showed that video. He was the one in white standing by the gentleman who was talking. I mean, there are some who say that all of this could have happened without the cameras. Is it one that you agree with?
We are in a country that everybody has an opinion about, which is fine. At least there's freedom of speech. So there's also a freedom to practice and lead the country in accordance to lay down procedures. If a minister goes to any place, normally there are cameras with them. Normally there are cameras to highlight whatever they are doing. So if he's received a call and he's going there and goes with cameras, there's nothing wrong with it. It is not a secret. The only thing is that he must respect the privacy of patients in that hospital if he goes. But if he goes to meet with the management of the hospital or goes to look at certain information they've given to him about the way the hospital is handled or the way the hospital is being managed, the way the infrastructure is being deteriorating, if he decides to go with cameras to look at it without telling the management, this will set an alert, a warning to all other health managers to make sure that they keep their hospitals in shape. So I don't see the reason people are indicating that going there with cameras and the rest.
So that's Dr. Thomas Anaba there. Now, we're going to get through to the Ghana Medical Association shortly, and they've issued a strongly worded statement, of which we have a copy of. We put on our Facebook page at 3FM927. Austin Game is a celebrated labor expert. Is joining us right now. Also, former deputy minister and a member of parliament, former member of parliament for the people of the Volta region, specifically now occupying that particular position as a very, very, very respected health expert. That's a labor expert right now. Mr. Gama, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. First of all, I want to find out from you. You've seen the statement from the Ghana Medical Association. There's one thing that is clear in there, that they said they are not going to stand down. They will stand in solidarity with the people, the colleagues in the Tamale Teaching Hospital in the wake of these injustices being perpetuated against them. Could the health minister have handled this differently? Or you would say that the Ghana Medical Association is overreaching their acts of solidarity?
Thank you, my brother. After hearing about this matter, I have been checking through. It appears many media houses and a lot of people, including perhaps Ghana Medical Association, might have gotten snipers of information, just like many of us might have gotten, and are carrying along with it. It appears there's a lot more happening than the eye can behold. I have checked sufficiently. It appears the issues are not exactly being described the way it is originated. The minister's visit has all to do with the appalling conditions in the hospital, breakdown of equipment, and it did not begin 4 months ago. It began many, many, many years ago. And every effort is being made to try and put things right. That's why he went there. The issue about someone dying from negligence or whatever became part and parcel of the whole issue, which is being, driven into the original case, and therefore muddying the water. From my checks, the minister went there on a visit to ensure that certain things that ought to be done are done. Unfortunately, there appears to be some high-level miscommunication, misrepresentation, and the supposed kind of argument that ensued between one of the hospital doctors and either the minister and Sohini and other people appears to have been taken out of context. And that is what has angered my friends in the GMA and other people. Not the dismissal of the CEO of the Tamale Teaching Hospital has absolutely nothing to do with the argument that ensued, because the person with whom the argument was, carried on with is still at the hospital. There's nothing done to him. He's not appearing before any disciplinary committee. He's been taken to be one of 5 things that could be, could visit anybody at any point in time. So I really wish that all of us would take our time and find out what really happened, and those who the dismissal of the doctor is another thing altogether. It has nothing to do with what happened in the hospital visitation. So I think that's what I found out, and I'm very certain about what I have found out. But I'm open to learning more from other people, and therefore the call by either the hospital in Tamale and the GMA about taking an action is a little bit on the faster than perhaps they have imagined it to be. I think everybody should take it easy.
I see, that's fair. But to the extent that, yes, I mean, I've heard Al-Hassan Suini also make that point you just corroborated, that the dismissal of the CEO has nothing to do with what happened yesterday. But then again, if you look at the Ghana Medical Association statement quite closely, they indicate that they had a number of things. One, the head of the emergency unit has also received threats and cyberbullying, putting him and other staff at risk of physical harm and psychological trauma. Also, the said gentleman who had that verbal altercation with the minister, was in their view threatened because of the kind of back and forth that we saw in the video. They also indicate that there are systemic issues that has nothing to do with or goes beyond just the CEO not acting. For instance, if what led to this gentleman's passing, allegedly, is anything to go by regarding the unavailability of a functional ventilator at the facility, they say they also know that the CEO has continuously reported this matter about ventilators not being enough at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and government hasn't come to the aid of the hospital. How is he the one supposed to bear the ultimate blame for that?
Well, from my investigations, the little investigation I have done, it appears there's a lot more going on in Tamale, and which at the hospital, which have been properly examined by the ministry, and they are trying to find solution to them. Of course, the GMA is not unaware that they are not going to be the people supplying equipments and things to the hospital. They can complain about these things. They can go to the highest place, the president himself. They can lodge any complaint anywhere. All of us can step in, join them to demand the best possible facilities for any hospital, not just Tamale. But it's about finding out when there is a kind of threat like the one that they are talking about. I have understood that nobody is being threatened there. The seeming altercation that happened there should not be taken to be a threat to either the minister or to the workers who are there, the doctors and so forth and so on. And we should stop magnifying some of these things the way we magnify them. Nobody is being dismissed. Nobody has been dismissed. The CEO that have been dismissed is a different story altogether. And if the employer has the right to dismiss somebody for a certain stated offense that may not warrant a case of finding out what the offense might be, then that is the one that comes under the law properly, and they can raise a petition and say that, look, can we further interrogate why this fellow has been dismissed? If it's relative to the question of some of the things they are raising, then it's a different story. And always, all over the world, if an employer took an action and they found later that that's a misrepresentation of the facts, it can be reversed. They've always done that before. So it's the question of threatening the very patients that we all are talking about, that we want to protect their privacy and so forth. If I'm a patient and I'm unwell and I'm in hospital and I've heard that there's a threat of strikes because of a certain situation, you are aggravating my situation. So we are all not solving the problem. So I agree with them. If they have a case, why not? They should pursue it. They know the line to pursue. They are at liberty to do that, including reporting the matter to Labour Commission. Let them summon the employer to the place and let them deal with the issue. But I wish that we don't take the first step being a threat and so forth and so on. That may not be the best option. But I've checked properly, and I do know that nobody is being threatened. No committee has been set up on any of the people there who was having the altercation with the minister. I haven't heard any of that.
nobody can question.
And Mr. Game, I just want you to take a listen briefly to the GMA General Secretary, Dr. Salome.
Media has been sent messages saying that he's killed the patient. People are on his page cyberbullying him. People are sending messages to the wife and his family. And the MP is there saying that it's because they've questioned him. Who says nobody can question the doctor? He in particular was shouting at the doctor, if a minister is this, then it means that he has been acting worse. When the doctor in his constituency has been using his money to fund water for the emergency, has he, as the MP, in or out of government, fetched water for that emergency to function? So I think we must move away from this thing of trying to scapegoat people and then gaslight them subsequently and try to blame them for systemic issues that really are out of their view. We have not said that he has been invited. He can go and read our statement. We have not said that he has been sanctioned. So wherever he's reading that from, I don't know. But that is maybe another statement he is reading from. It is not our statement. We have not said that the doctor has been punished. We have not said he has been sanctioned. How they spoke to him was disrespectful and has dampened the guy's commitment, his spirit. And today, junior doctors working under him are saying that if their boss can be abused like this in public for something that they are totally is out of their control, then how is their own future going to be? And they are calling a meeting to decide what they want to do. How do you expect us to do that?
That's Dr. Richard Salome there. Essentially, Mr. Gama, you hear the concerns, is it not? I mean,
yes,
it goes beyond
yes.
just what happened yesterday. And then
yes,
also,
I appreciate that. His approach. I'm a teacher of conflict resolution. So as I listen to all the parties, I realize that it's about communication again. Because if you say disrespectful, I mean, you are also creating another problem by way of saying that the minister is disrespectful to a doctor. Both parties are engaged in some form of argument, and you are concluding that one side is disrespectful to the other. I mean, why should we come to that conclusion? I side with both parties that they have some frustration, some concern about what is going on, and so I empathize with both parties. But the manner in which the language is being blown left, right, center sounds like there is something that is hidden we don't know. But I would like to plead with both parties. It's about sitting down and talking and not stating. We are adding now fuel to the fire now by way of him saying that the minister is being disrespectful to the doctor and his genius. How will they take it? How will people in the country take the minister also? So we should not visit that on ourselves. I will urge both parties to just take it easy and engage. I'm sure the minister is the type who like engaging. They should get together and talk about this matter and rest the issue where appropriate. But to visit this kind of public communication and misrepresentation, about each other may not be very helpful. And the people in the Tamale Teaching Hospital, since they themselves are saying, and I heard the GMA, GS saying that they are not saying that they are franching anybody, that is sufficient. We should now settle down, engage with the minister, and have a conversation about how best to have this matter resolved, and not to aggravate it any further.
Zingame, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
I'm most grateful.
Zingame is a labor expert joining us with his thoughts on this matter. And in fact, if you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927, also on 3news.com, we've published a full complement of the press statement from the Ghana Medical Association and essentially the reactions as well from Al-Hassan Sueni, Tamale North Member of Parliament, and who was with the Health Minister Kwabena Takando when this altercation ensued at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. In fact, the Ghana Medical Association also is asking for the reinstatement of the Tamale Teaching Hospital CEO. That's one demand that they're clear about in the statement. And without it, they say that the health workers in the hospital are currently in the crunch meeting and they would eventually advise themselves. We have eyes on what's happening at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. We'll update you a lot more on it here on Hot Edition. Ghana Journalists Association, they've called on the Ghana Police Service to cause the arrest of the New Patriotic Party third national chairman, Alhaji Masaoud, over his threats to harm journalists from Media General, talking about TV3, 3FM, Onia FM, Onia TV, Connect FM, Akwa FM, and 3news.com. Now, Alhaji Masaoud threatened to assault journalists from TV3 and its affiliates if they turned up at events or engagement organized by the New Patriotic Party. Addressing a news conference a short while ago, the GJA president, Albert Jumfo, condemned the threat, calling on law enforcement officers to act immediately and decisively on the matter.
Our attention has been drawn to an incident that occurred at a press conference organized by the NPP on Wednesday, April 16, 2025. And subsequent development does smack the face of media freedom and even constitute threat to life. The NPP press conference was attended by the General Secretary, Justin Frimpong Kodia, and the Minority Leader, Honorable Alexander Afenyo Makin. While the General Secretary was inviting the Minority Leader to deliver a speech, the NPP third National Vice Chairman, Alhaji Osman Masaoud, was captured on camera pushing the TV3 microphone set on the eye table to the floor.
92.7.
That action was greeted with murmurs of disapproval from the General Secretary, Minority Leader, and other party officials, who immediately called for the TV3 microphone to be reinstated on the eye table. That gesture by the General Secretary and the Minority Leader to restore order and allow TV3 to cover the event, although Alhaji Masaoud was not remorseful, is very commendable. We commend the NPP General Secretary and the Minority Leader for showing a high sense of tolerance and maturity in the face of chaos. Colleagues, a day after this incident, Alhaji Masaoud, in an interview with Kumasi-based Ash FM, said categorically that he deliberately pushed the TV3 microphone down. He even went further to issue threats against reporters of TV3 who may go near programs of NPP. This is what he said, and I quote him. This is a warning to Media General. This is a warning to TV3. They should stay away from the New Patriotic Party. The next time they joke with our program, to wait, we will beat them. We find the actions and comments of Alhaji Masaoud very reckless, reprehensive, and regrettable. His actions and comments are not only a threat to human life, they are also a threat to the lives of the rule of law and our democracy. We condemn them in no uncertain terms and call on the NPP third National Vice Chairman to withdraw his reckless comment and apologize for same. We also call on well-meaning Ghanaians, civil society organizations, diplomatic missions, and the international community to demand same from Alhaji Masaoud. If the NPP third National Vice Chairman fails to withdraw those reckless comments and threats, we shall hold him responsible for any attack on TV3 reporter or reporters at the party's program or anywhere close to the party's office. And we want the whole world to likewise hold him responsible. We are informed that the management of Media General have reported the threat to the police, and we hereby call on the police to act decisively on this case. The police must not sit unconcerned the police must not wait for the worst to happen before they act. We call on the Inspector General of Police and his team to immediately invite or cause for the arrest of what? The MPP third National Vice Chairman.
That's Albert Jumfo is the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. And this is a comment that has generated a lot of reactions from you. Essentially, a number of you also commending the GJA for coming out finally on this matter and then complimenting his call to the Ghana Police Service to act decisively on it. But we keep the steam on the New Patriotic Party, reason being, earlier today, the party's flag bearer addressed teaming supporters of the party at the party's national headquarters, essentially indicating that they lost the 2024 presidential elections because 2.1 million of the supporters of the MPP did not come out to vote. That's according to Dr. Mahmoud Obamian earlier today at the press conference. Take a listen to him.
We still suffered a heavy defeat. And when you look at what happened, you will see that it was internal. Many of our supporters did not come out to vote. This is really fundamentally why we lost the election. If you look at 2020 vis-a-vis 2024, 2.1 million of our supporters didn't come out to vote. 2.1 million. And you look at John Mohammed's votes, his votes went up by maybe 115,000. So he increased by 115,000 and we went down by 2.1 million. And that is basically why we did not win. So the key to victory going forward is within the MPP. It is within ourselves because we decided not to vote. So if we decide to vote, we will win. So the key is ourselves. It is ourselves. So that is what we have to understand and take going forward. When we finished the election, there were so many people who were giving different reasons for why we lost. So many different reasons. But people were speaking without data. And you know, you can only speak forcefully with data. When you look at the reasons people were offering, one of the reasons people offered was that they said that they didn't vote for us because our presidential candidate was Muslim. Have you not heard that? Didn't you hear that? When I heard that, I said, this doesn't make sense. This is not the Ghana that I know. Because if you look at it, we went for primaries. We had 10 contestants. I was 1 Muslim, 9 Christians. But the MPP voted for the Muslim presidential candidate. So that could not be the case. So I decided to do some data analysis to test this hypothesis. And when you look at the data is very clear. In many constituencies across the country, the MPP presidential candidate performed better than the Christian parliamentary candidate. In many constituencies across. So it couldn't be if they were voting because of religion, I shouldn't be performing better than the Christian parliamentary candidates. Even my good friend, Intim, who is giving a lot of heat to the government at the moment in Thailand. Intim is a reverend father in Tim Pojo, as in South. But I did better than him in his constituency. So he did so well. I mean, he did and mobilized the votes for me, and I thank him very much. But if you look at all across the country, the fact is that there was no religious factor in the voting. It is only propaganda. There is no religious factor. And in fact, you know, we sought to see so many.
Well, so that's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the NPP's 2024 flag bearer, presidential candidate in that election. He outlines two things. Talks about data. He says he's done his own data analysis to test the hypothesis, whether indeed what exactly led to the MPP losing historically in the 2024 presidential elections. Two things. And then also he talks about the religious factor and the fact that he did much better than some of the Christian parliamentary candidates of the MPP in that election. He singles out Reverend Tim Fojo, and he gives obvious reasons why, and to the extent that it says he is even a reverend minister, but then again he performed better in that particular constituency even than from him as a parliamentary candidate. In fact, this is another comment as well that points to a certain direction, and that's why I bring in two people on the data and the politics of things that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia talked about. Dr. Jonathan Asanchocho is a senior lecturer, University of Cape Coast political analyst, and then also Musa Dankwa is executive director of Global Info Analytics. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Good evening.
Great. I'll start off with you, Mr. Dankwa, because Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia talks about one of the reasons why they lost the election being data. He says he's done his own data analysis to test the hypothesis. It came out that if you look, in his words, if you look at 2020 vis-a-vis 2024, 2.1 million of the MPP supporters did not come out to vote. So the key to victory is within the MPP because they decided not to vote. So if they decide to vote, the MPP candidate will always win an election. Did that reflect in your post-electoral analysis in the 2024 elections?
92.7. Right, Alfred, thank you very much for having me. Let's start with the voter apathy for December 2024. Polls we've conducted shows that those who said they did not vote in that election, indeed, 45% of them were MPP sympathizers. 9% were NDC sympathizers. 32% were floating voters. 3% other parties, and 22% did not tell us their party affiliation. So you can see that those who did not vote, less than half of them are MPP sympathizers. That's the first point. And the second point is that your supporters don't always come and vote for you. It doesn't happen like that. And indeed, if you look at the polls that was conducted after the elections, it shows that of the people who call themselves MPP sympathizers, 4% voted for other candidates, 79% voted for Bawumia, and 17% voted for John Mahama. That is the MPP bloc. For those who said they were NDC, 8% went for Bawumia and 92% for Mahama. For floating voters, Mahama got 68% of floating voters and Bawumia got 11% of them. 21% went for other candidates. Now, this is the trick. Now, if you look at those who voted on the election day for Akufo-Addo, we must try and draw a line between those who didn't vote at all. We should not call all of them MPP sympathizers. No, you can't call people who voted for Nana-Addo as MPP supporters. It doesn't work like that. People who queue to vote for presidential elections are not just your party people. I think that must be well understood. When Nana-Addo won 2020 elections, he won that election with the support of MPP sympathizers, NDC sympathizers, floating voters, and the rest. Now, let's look at how they voted. Those who in the 2020 went for Nana-Addo, we found that about 4% of people who voted for Nana-Addo in 2020 switched their vote to Mahama. 94% went for Bawumia, and 2% went for others. But for those who voted for Nana-Addo in 2020, it included people numbering about 76% who had come back to John Mahama. So NDC people who went for Nana-Addo in the last election, 76% left MPP candidate back to Mahama. 76%. It tells you that those who vote for your candidate do not necessarily mean they are party supporters. They are not.
I see, but then again, he's convinced essentially because of what he says is a hypothesis that he did with the data analysis that he himself, as a data person, he says you cannot make a forceful argument without data, and that's why I still want to dwell on you, because to that extent, is there any merit in the conviction that he has after his data hypothesis that indeed 2.1 million of the supporters of the NPP did not come out to vote? That's why he lost.
I think the true hypothesis would have been right if he had said that post-election analysis of those who didn't vote had showed that. But what he is doing is to use the actual results and compare the actual results to what happened in the year before to say that the gap between what they got last time and this time represent the MPP voters, and that was wrong, or that is wrong.
I see, but so then, which data set would he probably be using that would give, which you say is giving the wrong outcome, because he references 2020 vis-a-vis 2024, essentially.
Yes. So he's using the actual data, but if they have spoken to people who did not vote in 2024 and asked them their party affiliation, so they realized that not all those 2.1 million are MPP vote sympathizers.
Right. Not all the 2.1 million can be expressly stated as MPP supporters.
Yes, and in fact, if you look at those who voted in the 2024 elections, of those who came to vote and called themselves MPP, 17% of that number went for Mahama. So 17% of MPP sympathizers went for Mahama. So if those who were at home had come out to vote, what would have seen would have been the higher turnout, but the proportion wouldn't have changed because they were angry and they would have come to vote the same way as their peers.
I see. And Mr. Anagwa, kindly hold on a bit for me. And this is where I flip to the second point that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia makes in terms of the diagnosis of what really led to his defeat in the presidential elections in 2024, and the Electoral Commission, in declaring President John Dramani Mahama as winner of that race, secured some 6,328,397 of the votes, representing 56.55% of the valid ballot cast, as against Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's over 4,657,000. That's about 41.61% of the valid vote cast. But Dr. Jonathan Sachochri, the other point that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia makes, which he says has been his diagnosis of what led to his defeat in the presidential election, was the religious factor and the fact that some people say because he is Muslim, that's why the MPP lost. He contests that particular position quite fiercely, and this is what he said. Just recall that a bit, and I'll have you also comment on that particular statement he made in that regard.
Reasons people were offering. One of the reasons people offered was that they said that they didn't vote for us because our presidential candidate was Muslim. Have you not heard that? Didn't you hear that? When I heard that, I said, this doesn't make sense. This is not the Ghana that I know. Because if you look at it, we went for primaries. We had 10 contestants. I was 1 Muslim, 9 Christians. But the MPP voted for the Muslim presidential candidate. So that could not be the case. So I decided to do some data analysis to test this hypothesis. And when you look at the data is very clear. In many constituencies across the country, the MPP presidential candidate performed better than the Christian parliamentary candidate. In many constituencies across. So it couldn't be, if they were voting because of religion, I shouldn't be performing better than the Christian parliamentary candidate. Even my good friend, Intim Fortio, who is giving a lot of heat to the government at the moment in Thailand. Intim is a reverend father in Pojo, as in South. But I did better than him in his constituency. So he did so well.
So that's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Dr. Jonathan Cheche, to you, how does this statement, strike you from the political scientist or analyst perspective, the diagnosis of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and this Muslim-Christian analysis?
Well, let me say good evening to you and good evening to Mr. Dankwa and to your good listeners. You see, in as much as we are supposed to be a secular nation, we are equally religious people. It is true that religion may not be the main factor, but it is an insignificant factor as well. The point is that when you draw up the boxes, you should be able to take more than 90-something%, because there is not a single candidate that comes to the fore with perfections. There may be some imperfections or some weaknesses within a particular candidate, but when you tick all the boxes, you must be able to be in the 90s. That is the best way to go. The point is that, in as much as what he's saying may be right, there are some people, either minority, who will have such considerations. And you cannot in any way take away the tribal sentiment from an African country that is driven by this. There are people who have such perceptions, and you just cannot do anything to them. That is how they also perceive things. So sometimes when a political party is picking a candidate, as I said, they look at all these boxes and take them. In actual fact, where he comes from, they have a minority tribe. Where Mr. Muhammad comes from, they have a majority tribe. When you do the comparative analysis, and even if it is just going to be tribal elections, he will beat you. Now, the other thing that probably Dr. Bawumia has lost sight of and is probably trying to protect his interest for now. For me, this reference to religion, I've not seen any data yet that suggests that contributed to his loss. It is probably an internal call by some of the Sawas within the party who are probably doing some of these internal discussions, and that might have, occasioned this particular comment. That being said, if these factors are not significant, what Dr. Bawumia should bear in mind, which is more significant, is that he was or he is a weak candidate. There is no other important factor than to suggest that he came into the 2024 elections as a weak candidate. How did that happen? The main leverage that you can use to rally the grassroots and everybody else to come to your aid is the economy. And there were other factors as well. The economy was symbolic. When you say this, the likes of Mr. Yaba will come at you that you are apologetic of this. If today Mr. Justin Kobia is apologizing, what is he apologizing for? What is he apologizing for? Is it today that they are hearing the call of Ghanaians who complain bitterly about the way and manner things were going? That being said, what about the role of the former president? When Global Analytics made us know by November 2024 that the approval rating of the president was in the 20s, you do not let such a person lead anyway in your campaign strategy. You should have taken a backseat, because every now and then it was derailing the gains of the Bawumia along the line. So he may, wish away insignificant, factors like religion or tribal religions. He may wish those things away. But he came into the elections as a weak candidate. And it did not start at the national level. It started from the primaries. A candidate who is not able to make 80, 85, when your contestant or your competitor is making 90-something%, how do you think you'll be able to win the national elections? It means that internally, you are not the overwhelming candidate that everybody wants. Nana made 80s, in terms of contest. So you could see that
right
within the party itself, you have a firm ground over the party. He himself, people look at his history. As I said that he came into the election as a weak candidate. People look at his history, and they think that it was just a token that was given him because of the backers of certain individuals within the party. That is real. Okay. And today, the likes of Alan have exited the party, and there are others who are equally disgruntled. Apart from the fact that on the ground, the grassroots were disgruntled, they were very apathetic against the leadership. Okay. I listened to most of these MPP guys, and they seem to tell me those days, that look, they love their party, but not the current leadership.
Okay.
Because they have misled the party.
Right.
So these and many other factors contributed to their loss, and not just that insignificant reference to religion and tribe. No.
Well, thank you. Dr. Jonathan Asanchochi, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Jonathan Asanchochi is a political analyst, senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, joining us on this matters live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Now, the Minister of Education is set to introduce a new bill to Parliament aimed at regulating insurance practices in Ghana. The proposed Insurance Professionals Bill seeks to ensure that citizens receive value for money when they engage insurance services. The announcement was made during the inauguration of two key professional boards, the Institute of Marketing Ghana and the CIMG and Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana in Accra. Daniel Opoku, our Labour correspondent, has the rest of the details.
With some pride say that the most important governance structure of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, ICAG, is now properly and duly constituted by law. Let me, on behalf of President Mahama and my good self, congratulate you for the honor of accepting to serve the country in those leadership roles.
92.7.
For many of you, it may be a renewal of the leadership and an affirmation of the mandate entrusted to you as the regulatory body of one of the most important professional organizations in our country, accountancy. And as many of you may recall, we need to strengthen the pillars of leadership, and that can only begin at the governance level, and it begins with your council. You are stewards of the mandate that demands transparency, accountability, and responsiveness. Your role will be to ensure that the accountancy profession is practiced reflecting best practices.
As Harun Adresu, the Education Minister, the board chair of CIMG, Michael Abia, also pledged the board's readiness to support the government's efforts on this particular initiative. Also, tension is building in the country's education sector as the Ghana National Association of Teachers has announced a nationwide strike set to begin Wednesday, April 30, 2025. The decision follows an unresolved concerns over the delayed promotion of more than 1,000 teachers. The teachers have for some time now been agitating over delays in the promotions. They want the Education Ministry to quickly intervene to avert an impending nationwide strike. General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Thomas Musatanko, has been speaking about this earlier today. He's going to be joining us on the telephone in a bit, but this is exactly what their concerns are.
Today is Wednesday, and that was somewhere last week that we met them.
3FM 92.7.
Yes, and I must concede that some of them have been resolved. but some of them also, or yes, a significant number of them still outstanding. We are talking about our scheme of service that is still outstanding. We're talking about the lower rank promotions, which is also outstanding. And we are also looking at the issue of upgrading with some outstanding. And having said that, I can tell you on authority that all is not well. And that there is fire on the mountain. I tell you. I repeat, all is not well. And that the teachers are not happy. And that there is fire on the mountain.
Why, yes?
Fire on the mountain because if somebody who should have been promoted as far back as 2023 and you have not done it, the lower rank promotion or the lower ranks promotion, we are talking about as far back as 2019. How many years now? Almost 6 years down the line. Another group, we are talking about 2023. Now, it has not yet been done. Certainly, it is more than provocation. Okay, it is more than provocation. So, we still stand by our April deadline. We've given the duty bearers up to April ending. And the Public Services Commission, I repeat, the Public Services Commission and the Ghana Education Service must hear this thing clearly. Whatever happens in the month of May, these two institutions should be held liable.
As Thomas Musa Tanko is the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers. We're back shortly with the business news. Michael Obodo standing by. Stay with us.